Welcome. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You know what I've discovered? If I don't mute the mic or if I unmute the mic when the music's playing, it comes on. Welcome to Reckless Speculation. The show usually starts with me talking and nobody hearing. But tonight, you can hear me. Of course, Raj is late, but that's given. If you don't know, that's a rare Indian religious setting to be at least 20 minutes late for all events. So, to my right, and happy birthday, Raj. We miss you, brother. We'll see you in a minute. Over here, Robbie Davis, taking a day off, relaxing, ain't been doing nothing important today. Welcome to the show. I'm sure you've prepped all day.
Oh yeah, just been busy the last couple of days, but took the afternoon off to rejuvenate and glad to be here. Um, Successful jury verdict and moving on to the next one.
And next to him, in a god awful Chicago Cubs shirt that nobody knows why he's wearing, Brandon Shane, welcome in. What is your allegiance to the Cubs? And do you even know that's a Cubs shirt?
I do. I do. So several years back, so as a kid growing up, I used to be a huge baseball fan. I liked both the Braves and the Cubs, and then just kind of got out of baseball following it. But several years back in college, I kind of picked a team. I liked the lovable losers at that point. They just could never win anything. Actually went to the World Series Game 3. I was in, not at the game, but I was in Wrigleyville. Me and Dave Hicks flew down less than 24 hours there. It's a good time, but yeah, I am a Cubs fan. Haven't been a, lifer like a lot of the Cubs fans, but I was on the bandwagon way before the World Series. So, and I've been going through this complete rebuild and blow up that we're struggling through 11 and 19 right now. So we'll see.
So I don't know what makes it worse. Chris being a Cubs Alabama fan or you being a Cubs Ohio State fan. I've got to think on that one for a little while. I will get back to you which is worse. But that's another subject. First of all, welcome to the slow time of the year. I know you're thinking, what can these idiots talk about right now? But look, there's a few things to get through. And Robbie, I want to start with something. As I understand, with no knowledge of horses, no knowledge of racing, there's a bunch of people that love to gamble that stood around Saturday betting a bunch of money on horses they didn't even know what was. You actually had a theory. It turned out to be wrong. 80-1 shot wins the Kentucky Derby. You put $100 down. How much could you have collected?
Well, that's just a simple math problem, 80-1. But no, but so I was sitting here I worked all weekend, but got home for the Kentucky Derby because I have this little, I don't know, it's just the Derby and the Triple Crown. You watch the Preakness, the Belmont. I watch them all.
I've been to the Derby. It is a great, great time.
Hey, I'm doing my 10-year bachelor party thing there next year. So yeah, we're all gonna be there next year.
10-year bachelor party? What?
Yeah, it's a new thing.
It's like a high school reunion.
No, it's a new thing I've invented. A 10-year bachelor party reunion at the Kentucky Derby. We'll talk later. But
my 10-year anniversary usually involves Davis, Kessler, and Davis, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. So anyways, the Derby. I mean, it's 2 minutes, the most exciting 2 minutes in sports, as they say. The guy with what was it, Rich something?
Rich Strike.
Rich Strike. Yeah, like from where he came from the back at that time to come through and beat the favorites. Well, what happened was, and obviously none of us are horse racing experts, but they started too fast. And we've all watched Secretariat. We've all seen that movie. Mm-hmm. The field started too fast. And then once it started that fast, it was ripe for an underdog taking. And that's what happened. And I'm not sure who was responsible of the leaders, but at least 2 or 3 of them were too fast out the gate. In that first quarter mile, half mile, they blew the chance for the favorites to win.
Robbie, it wasn't that he was behind. This horse was like next to last and caught on the inside. Shane, that was, if you've not watched the video that's around social media of his run from outside or from the inside to win this, it is very epic.
It is. And I mean, dodging through traffic, right, left, cutting inside, middle. And you could just see it happening with that overview perspective. Like he could have lapped the field if they would have kept going. Like it was just incredible. But yeah, unfortunately I didn't get to watch it live. I was at the Corn Ferry tournament rooting on one of our local friends here, Brent Grant, who actually won it. But it was one of the craziest finishes on a derby that I've seen, to come back from that far and that fast.
Well, and I don't remember derbies necessarily in the past, but they left the rail wide open for someone to come in and cut down, just like Rich Strike did. And he came in and just took the shortest path to victory.
Yeah. And the crazy thing, he was not even supposed to be there. He was a draw in, which is even
$30,000 horse.
Yeah.
He's not a $30,000 horse today.
Hey! The best part was he tried to attack the horse walking into victory lane. He was feisty.
Yeah. Well, they said he was still in race mode,
Yeah.
and was still.
He was just shocked he had won. He's like, "Oh my God, what stud fees I'm about to make."
Oh, well, what was the best was the owners were like, "Oh yeah, we don't enter a horse we don't expect to win." Like, yeah, okay. Like, no, you were headed to New York. You turned around, came back to Kentucky, and then yeah, you didn't expect to win this thing at all. Like, just be honest. Like, yeah, it was a Hail Mary.
Yeah, they were on the waiting list.
Yeah,
they were not. They tried to enter, obviously, but the airplane did a U-turn in the air and got back to Kentucky.
They're like the 13th person in our fantasy football league, just waiting. They're waiting for criminal to go to jail.
Yeah. Hey, that's the guy waiting for a criminal spot. $100 ticket, offsite betting, paid $8,188.
Yeah.
So had to be
80 to 1 will get you. It's crazy.
Somebody had I'm looking at some winning tickets, a $3,000 futures win.
I'm just excited. I now have a horse gambling account, this new app on my phone, so now I can just gamble 24/7 all over the world. There's always horses. Like, I'm like the guy in my home that's the guy at the casino at 4 a.m. that's sitting there in the horse race lounge. Like, I'm betting those guys. Yeah, that's me currently. That's my life.
Do you remember one of the first shows you were ever on? You were talking about the pitiful guy that was standing in front of the one TV. Yeah. You are him now. Welcome.
Yes,
Welcome.
All it took was 2 Kentucky derbies later to find out how to download the app.
That is a foreshadowing of Robbie Davis at 55 years old, I'm afraid. All right, man. Anybody else? Was it fun derby though? Let's move along to a horse or a stud of his own that got paid large this week. And I mean large as in more money than he's ever made in the NFL. We've had a conversation about this. Fox was put in a situation where they had lost Tony Romo. They've lost their top of the line. Eli and Peyton Manning's alternative broadcast on Monday Night Football doing huge numbers. Fox steps up and pays Tom Brady at the end of his career. This contract picks up, I assume, If he plays 1, 2, 3, 5 years, it picks up then. 10 years, 375 million to be the face of Fox Sports. Robbie, is it ironic that he's going to make more money broadcasting football than he's made playing football?
So this to me has so many layers, and I want to see the contract. Well, one, to me, it's reckless on Fox to say a guy who's never done what he's going to be asked to do gets paid $37 million a year. And also, look, the NFL rights are coming up in 2024. I got news for you guys. Amazon, Apple, Google, they're all in play. Fox and ABC and ESPN, they're a fraction of the market value of what those other companies are. So who's to say they even have the rights to these contracts anymore?
So you're suggesting you pay $375 for Brady and then you don't even get football?
That would be my if I'm an executive, that would be my worry. Yes, I just paid $375. I'm Fox, like Amazon, Google, Apple. You can take Fox's biggest contract, they can double it without flinching. Like this is a dangerous game to play. And so I don't know what the guarantees are. I don't know what the contingencies are. But to me, like I don't think Brady's gonna be bad. Like he can be Tony Romo. Like I can see the field. I can do all this. But look, like, all right. So let's say if it's Brandon on CBS on Sunday at 4:15, are you gonna tune in or not? Of course you are. It's the NFL. Like it doesn't matter who's talking. You can put it on mute and you're gonna show up. Like, I don't get this high salary for people calling NFL games when people are gonna watch anyways.
As I said, Brandon, there'll be a few 100,000 people that would rather look at Tom Brady than me tune in. But I can't think. We all know I do high school football. I think I would probably be better at doing the game than Tom Brady from a statistical analysis, where we're at. But Tom Brady's Tom Brady. What does he really bring to it? Or is it something we don't see he brings to it?
I think this is Tony Romo 2.0. I think you're going to see a way better analysis than what Romo gave. Now, his was great, but this is the GOAT we're talking about. This guy has been tearing up defenses for almost 22 years, 21 years. And I think it's warranted. This is the market value now. I think, along with NFL, he's going to be doing some college potentially. It's just, inflation, everything. I think it's kind of the going rate. And it's somewhat of a gamble because you haven't seen him break down a game publicly live, but I think he's going to be great at it. And go ahead.
Let me ask you this: how many times have you watched a football game in a sports bar with no volume on at all?
I'm going to answer this question.
Well, I'm watching an NBA game right now with no volume on.
Right, and you're going to watch it, and we watched the Titans without the Titans sound off. Like the announcers, it's not like they're like. It seems to me like Fox is going back to the radio days. Like this radio personality is going to sell product. It doesn't. The NFL sells their product.
I disagree though a little bit. You look at
Are you kidding me? You
listen.
Think?
One second.
Right.
Look at the market now. Look how expensive ticket prices are getting. Look at people can't afford to go to games now. So you want great entertainment at home. You're looking for these announcers to break down games in the moment. These are going to bring potentially more fans, and more people are staying home watching it. 7-8 games at a time. I think it's really going to benefit.
All right,
You're trying to sell your point, but it's not true. They're watching the game because it is the game. Like they're watching football because that is football. Like they don't care about what someone talks about. They're
No,
watching.
it's a valid point what you're saying. Yeah, if they're wanting to watch the Packers, they don't care what station they're on. They're going
Yes,
to watch the
so
Packers.
I can get someone for $10 million a year, as opposed to 37 million or 5 million or two. You can hire me for $1 million a year.
Yeah,
I'll be cheap.
we don't care what they spend on it. I'm just saying I don't think it's a bad investment necessarily for Fox because it's somewhat of the going rate.
Well, so I think Fox has to
Is it
have
top of the market?
some. So this is what reckless speculation, and let me talk real quick, Randall. Reckless speculation, real quick. There was talk that Brady going to the Dolphins, he was going to be a minority owner. And so
Right.
I think Brady has some kind of already agreement with some team. He's going to be a minority owner. And that's going to help the Fox keep that television contract. Because I'm telling you guys, these television contracts are not going to stay with the mainstream. They're gonna jump to the tech companies. And so ABC's you only have so much money. They already ABC pays what $100 million a week for Monday Night Football, and it's going to triple in 2024. There's only so much money in the bank.
Yeah, but you just pass that along to your subscriptions for commercials or whatever else. I mean, it's inflation. Everything grows. Everything it's economics. So I don't. I know he's at the top of the market, but I mean, this is where it's headed in broadcasting. I mean, look at the deals that everyone else is getting with these tech companies. I mean, they've got to compete to get these faces out there.
So let me add something to both of your points you made. I don't think Tom Brady breaks down games, Brandon. I think he dumbs down games for the average fan. You hear ex-coaches break down film. It doesn't sound like the Tony Romo or the Tom Brady breaking down film. It's vastly different. But I think what they do is they're able to simplify the game so an average fan can understand what they're talking about.
Yeah, exactly what I was about to say. I agree, but with his knowledge of the game, I think he can simplify it to where, like you said, people that are an average fan can understand
I
what is
think
going on and how it's happening.
if Tom Brady, Peyton Manning started talking about football, I would be like same conversation of me listening to Einstein discuss the theory of relativity. Second of all, Robbie, I agree with you. It is an outrageous amount of money for a face, but is Tom? I asked the question on the text the other day. Is Tom Brady worth more in the broadcast booth or the boardroom? Greg Olson, the former tight end, All Pro, is he's great in the booth. If you haven't heard him, listen to it. But if you have Coca-Cola walking into your boardroom and you're Fox, and you're about to sell them $1 billion package, and you go, here's Greg Olson, nobody really knows who that is. If you have Coca-Cola walk in and you say, this is going to be the face, this is Tom Brady, does that make the price of this package a little more understandable?
Well, so it depends because, so with NBC right now, you have Tony Romo calling games, and Tony Romo tells you exactly what they're going to call, how they're going to play it, and that's either beneficial for you or annoying for you. I assume Brady's going to do the same thing with Fox. Like he's going to say, "This is how the lineup is. They're going to do this. They're going to do that." I don't think you want a NFL product where people tell you exactly what's going to happen before it happens. So, I just I don't know where this all fits, and this is I think that you may want Brady maybe on Monday night. I just can't see him and Romo back to back on competing channels. It's going to be a lot of just them telling you what's going to happen, and so
Well, to your point, Robbie, that's the whole thing is, Romo's been one of the most famous broadcasters since he's been on the scene. And that's exactly what he does is tell people what's going to happen before it happens.
But do you like that? I hate it.
I don't mind it. I think it's, it shows the knowledge of breaking down a defense and that side of it. But I don't necessarily think Brady's going to copycat that. Maybe he does. Who knows? But, worth is what people are willing to pay. And that's what people are
absolutely,
willing to pay for Tom Brady. So to get upset about a contract or, good for him. Yeah. He just made more money than he did in 21 years in the NFL. So,
kudos. I completely agree. Yes. Tom Brady, go cash that check. Yes.
I'm just jealous about your agent.
Yeah.
The one thing that these guys like Romo and Brady do, and on a much smaller radius, I meet with coaches every Thursday before my broadcast. And I'll go in and I'll talk to our coach at our high school right before I go on the air. And not so much with our new coach. I haven't got that relationship. Coach Pruitt, the old man, Coach Pruitt, Jeremy Pruitt's dad, and I, for years, when he was at Plainview, I could talk to him pregame, and he would tell me, he would make me look like a genius, but he'd also give me a list of things he didn't want to talk about. If you see them in two safety, don't mention that I'm going to run the ball because next week we're going to play five and they do the same thing. Hey, if I catch them with 21 on 11, I'm going to post them to death. So from the booth, if I look out and I see 21 on 11, I'm going to say, hey, right here, look for them to post the thing. Now, if you're listening to me broadcast, you think I'm a genius. Now, Tom Brady, Tom Romo, they can read the field that way. I can't. But if you're listening to me on the air and you hear me go, oh, they're going to throw the post here, and they do, you think I'm the same kind of guy. So those coaches, and they want these guys to look like stars too. It helps the game.
Yeah.
I think, Robbie, I enjoy the Manning broadcast because it's more like two brothers sitting there watching a game. It's more like a conversation you, me, and Shane would have watching a game than it is a broadcast. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so the Manning broadcast is really, really good. I think of like the Turner broadcast, the TNT broadcast in basketball with Chuck, Kenny, Ernie, and Shaq. That's perfection. Like that's so good. And like they just have fun. I don't know if Brady can just have fun like that. I don't know. Obviously, we don't know Brady, but like he just doesn't have the person that can be like that.
I'm not an NBA fan. I've never been a huge NBA fan. We've talked about it here. I watch NBA, but I'm not a huge fan. If I see the pregame show coming on, even if I don't want to watch the game,
it's the best.
It's much watch TV to hear Chuck and Shaq and Kenny.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Must watch TV.
So there's PTI, in my opinion, PTI, and then that show, and those are the top two sports shows, and then it's a drastic decrease from everything else.
Yeah. I enjoy Barstool and some of the podcasts like Big Cat, but it's definitely different than even PTI. It's more degenerate gambler based than anything else.
It is. Well, and to Robbie's point earlier, chances are, 80% of the population are not really going to care who's announcing or doing whatever in the booth. But the other 20% are going to be pretty entertained with, potentially entertained. We haven't seen Brady. That's the thing. It's a gamble right now.
Have not seen him.
We haven't seen.
Last question, though. I want to get on before we move on. Is Tom Brady in the booth September of 2023, is he in the booth or on the sidelines of the Miami Dolphins or some other team, Robbie?
Well, with this contract, the way it's written, when he retires, he gets $375 million. Yeah, he's gonna play till they take him off the field. Yeah, no, he'll be on the field still. Absolutely.
What's he, 40? He's 44 this year?
If you can get 25 million, 30 million, whatever it is, to play, and you have 375 million waiting on you, yeah, you play.
Still playing at a top
10. I don't care how rich you are.
He's 44, right?
Yeah.
This year? I think he turns 44 this year. His goal is to play 45. I think he plays to 45. You know, obviously it could be situational. Like Robbie said, he was offered part ownership, the whole Miami thing. That was a big back channel deal that was going on. But totally agree. You've got a 10-year, 375 million. That's your
waiting for you whenever.
You think if he plays at 45, that's 55 years old. He's retired at 55. He's never gonna. I mean, he obviously doesn't have to do anything else for the rest of his life, but it's incredible. Kudos to him. He's the GOAT. He's even the GOAT in the broadcasting era, and he hasn't even stepped foot in the booth.
What happens? What happens if Fox loses the NFL contract?
Hey, they got to pay the guy.
Tom
they
Brady,
got to figure out Tom Brady.
Announcer.
Like these contracts are coming up. Like they're coming up, and
Fox. I know the tech companies are going to dip into a lot of that revenue, but these big time networks are still going to get theirs. Maybe not all of theirs, but they're still going to get theirs. So there is a lot of back channel stuff that we don't know about. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And these people are making side deals.
For hypothetical, what if Amazon says we'll pay you $700 million more than Fox will?
If Amazon knows something that other people don't and they can back it up, then yeah. And I think that's what's going on here.
And then there's Google and there's Apple TV. Like
I know.
We're in the wild. The next 2 years, the Wild Wild West has happened.
There are back channel deals, back channel handshakes that are going on. There is no way they would stick their neck out that far if there wasn't a guaranteed plan A, plan B, plan C. Like
I agree. I agree. I agree. 100%. I think there has to be something concrete saying Fox. So Fox is gonna have to pay up, and ESPN's gonna have to basically go broke for this contract.
Before we move on to John Morant, I got some facts for you guys, and this will close out on Brady. And I found this list, and I was just mesmerized by it. Last time Tom Brady wasn't in the NFL, what was going on in culture? Maria Maria by Santana was the #1 song in America. Rotten Tomatoes was a launching website that had just begun. The most popular app in computer world was AOL Instant Messenger. Google had not even launched yet. Mark Zuckerberg was in high school.
That's our age, mine and Brandon's age.
Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears were a couple. This is the one that got me. PlayStation 2 had just been released in Japan. The most popular phone was a Nokia.
I love those. Those are awesome back in the day.
Snake game.
Michigan
I never had Nokia. I was Motorola.
You had the little flip Motorola StarTAC.
Michigan State just defeated Florida to win the NCAA basketball tournament. 14-year-old
I remember that.
Was preparing for his first Olympics. And here's the one I'm going to ask y'all, see if you could get. What quarterback was taking #1, the first quarterback off the board in the 2000 draft.
2000 draft?
2000 draft. That was Brady's year. Who was the first quarterback taken?
Rivers.
Carson. No, it was Carson. Carson Palmer was too old.
I will give you a hint. He grew up in Knoxville, Tennessee.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
He went to Marshall as a 5'9".
Chad Pennington.
There you go. Was the first quarterback drafted in 2000. In saying that, I fully believe.
Who drafted him?
The Jets.
Bill Parcells took him to a AFC Championship game or maybe
AFC Championship game. You're right.
Bill Parcells can coach anyone to any level that he wants to.
That was a great conversation. I'm sure we'll come back to Brady, but let's quickly run across the state. Just as I got into the NBA playoffs, I am out of the NBA playoffs. Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies were taking Golden State to the limits. And then a lot have been made. Did Jordan pull Ja Morant's leg? What caused it to happen? The Grizzlies officially said it's a bone bruise.
Yeah. I
cannot buy the things the Grizzlies are saying about Jordan Poole hurt him intentionally. But the shame of it, Shane, this was a great series that we're now missing at least one of the top 3 or 4 players in the NBA from.
It is, for sure. Ja Morant is, a new guy on the scene that is just electric. He's fun to watch every night. But it was not Jordan Poole. If you have any common sense and you went back and watched that replay, there's no chance that caused a bone bruise. Yeah, now a sprained knee or a rolled ankle, I could see that out of that pull of the knee, but to have a bone bruise of somebody just grabbing your leg, come on. I mean, what are you doing here? That is the reverse of breaking the bro code, like what everyone's tweeting about right now. Like, that's a bro code break, in my opinion, is to call him out and say that was what caused a bone bruise on Ja Morant. Come on. I'm a Grizzlies fan and Ja Morant fan, but that's just BS.
Robbie, I thought that series was just getting the attention, the eyes on Ja Morant that he deserved. For him to be gone, it's kind of heartbreaking to me.
Well, yeah, I mean, you had the best player, or at least one of the best players in that series, really showed himself against Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Like, look, man, there's no debate. Ja Morant's a stud, and he's one of the best players in the NBA. And on this showcase, and like going against like 45, 47 points, man, he's ready. And my hope is that he loves Memphis as much as Memphis loves him, and that he
Memphis
will
can
stay.
Keep him,
yeah. But yeah, I mean, look, this was he's young. He's gonna learn. Throughout the regular season, you probably can't throw your body in those kind of situations so much. You can't just keep leaping and falling on the floor. So be more, I guess, acrobatic or just whatever the word is. But just keep moving around bodies. Stop getting in collisions and start making layups. He's got every skill you need in this league, and he's going to be great. And I think Memphis has a good chance of hanging on to him. But yeah, this bone bruise, bad news, and yeah, I mean the Grizzlies are done, and that's okay because you advance and you lose. Look, the Grizzlies are not good enough without Ja to win. So
no, they're not.
pack your bags and go home. It's a great season, but I will say the future is bright. He's a stud in this league.
He's
He is.
got he's arguably. I heard it today. I listened to one of the ESPN shows that said no one at 6'2" ever did what John Morant does at 6'2" above the rim. But
Yeah.
their concern, and we'll address that real quick, and Robbie, I'll come right back for you, was they made the example of Zion and Ja, two of the arguably best players in that class. Zion is eating his way quickly out of the NBA. Does Ja need to remake his body a little bit, Robbie, if he's going to play that way?
Well, so what you said was a great example. And so to me, and you guys are, Randall, you're a little older, Brandon's my age. To me, the greatest basketball player I ever saw was Magic Johnson. And then LeBron came along, and LeBron was a future Magic Johnson. Ja, to me, looks like a future Allen Iverson, a more in shape, a more scripted kind of workout person than what Allen Iverson was. Allen Iverson, to me, was one of the greatest scorers of the basketball in NBA history for his sport, his size, and his game. So I think Ja has that potential. He just leaps more and he falls more. If he can get that jump shot, he's bigger and stronger. And so I equate that to if Allen Iverson was Magic, Ja could be not quantified is yet. He could be the LeBron to the Ja.
That is very good analysis. I think what we miss is the miracle that Iverson survived all those years being hammered. And Iverson is a former prep quarterback that could have played probably NFL football as a quarterback. Does it concern you? And I'm going to make a comparison to a player I think he's very much alike in a second. Does it concern you, Brandon, that he's played so far above the rim at 174 pounds? That's a lot. And he has no meat, basically, or on his body to protect him.
No, not at all. My concern is work ethic here. And as of yet, he is, or as of now, he has shown it. He's working his butt off and trying to get there. But you look at the difference between an Allen Iverson, Shaquille O'Neal, like even compare it to like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan work ethic, LeBron James work ethic. Like it comes down to that. And I think the potential's there. They could be in the same conversation as, some of the greatest players we've ever seen. I think it's going to come down to that. But, can he put on a few more pounds? Yeah. Will he jump as high? I don't know. I think he plays well within his body right now. I agree, though. I think he's got to get a little bit more chill during the season and not be full throttle all the time. But right now he's young. He's a kid. He's trying to prove that he's one of the best in the NBA, which he is. But I think that comes with wisdom and experience in time that you'll learn that, you don't have to necessarily, fly that high or do these huge dunks and just, do a normal whatever and score the basket. So I think that's experience. And I think if the work ethic's there, he's going to be, he's already a superstar, but he's going to be like in history books of one of the greatest players we've got to witness.
So,
Seriously,
at
what are you
his
laughing at?
size,
Oh, my wife is knocking at the door right now.
I was like, I thought that was well said. But,
Yeah.
at his size, here's his injury list. October 2019 ankle. November 2019 back. These are all where he's missed games. November 2019 back spasms. December 2019 back. December 28, 2020 ankle. May of 2021 back. November of 21 health and safety protocol. That was probably COVID. January of 22 thigh. February of 22 foot. February of 2022 ankle. And then May of 2022 knee. Now, their conversation, I'm going to steal it, and I'm going to let you run with it, that they had on ESPN that really concerned me for Ja Morant. His stats, his size, his abilities are very similar to Derrick Rose, who at 3 years into his NBA career had missed hardly any games, played very similar to Ja Morant, as in he played as a undersized point guard, full speed. Ja Morant may have more control of his body than even Derrick Rose did, because Derrick Rose always felt herky-jerky. Ja Morant, silky smooth. Of course, after his third year, and he was the MVP, took the Bulls to the finals, those injuries started adding up on Derrick Rose. If you're Memphis, or you as a fan, do you start now at this point in his career, giving him nights off on back-to-backs, treating him as the superstar as he is? Brendan, your thoughts? I mean, because Derrick Rose to me was as dominating a point guard for 3 years that we have seen since Allen Iverson.
I agree with that statement. I think it's situational right now. You look at back then, in the Magic era, Jordan, Kobe, how many of those players would have been on the injury list that actually played through it compared to these days? Now, everyone's so protective of their asset, and there's all these protocols and, blah, 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 whether or not the player's ready to go or not. It used to be back in the day, if you feel fine, you want to play, you're in. And now it's not the case. So I think you see a lot higher injury rate on players like that, especially the star ones that they're very protective of. And I think that plays a factor, not necessarily saying that they're not injured or need to sit. But I think that's a kind of a gap in generations right there, what we're going through. But as far as sitting games right now, I mean, why? Why would you? I get throttling back a little bit, or maybe if it's, I don't know. I'm kind of, I guess I'm hypocritical on this topic right now. But I, yes, you want to preserve your star players, but at the same time, it's just a different era now, and people are overly cautious, I think, on certain situations. I'll leave it at that.
A good point about Grant Hill put a stop. But Grant Hill playing on that broken ankle basically ruined his career. 100% agree with you, Howie.
Yeah.
Robbie, we've now discovered exactly how long 45 minutes it is. 3 subjects, all we can get out. So we'll pick Apple up next week. Go ahead and give us what I can see Ja Morant on your mind now.
Well, I kind of just think of this like Kevin Durant philosophy. Like, man, I get paid to play basketball. I play basketball. If I get hurt, I get hurt. I just play. Like, I don't get this whole like, oh, sit people out. Like that's what they're paid to. Like we're paid to do what we do. Like we're paid to work. Like, is it stressful? Is it hard on our bodies? Is it like, yes, we get paid to do that. Like, I just don't get this whole workload management. Like, it doesn't. It's made up. It doesn't affect it. Like, does it only affect the NBA players? Because it doesn't affect football players. Doesn't affect soccer players. Doesn't affect baseball players. It's just this NBA kind of made up thing. So no one gives me a break. I'm going to work tomorrow. I have a 2-day trial. It's fine. Like, yeah, no one cares.
No, they
Yeah,
don't.
you're paid to play, like you said.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing it hurts is the ticket buyers that came to watch that player play, and they sit out that game. So
You're right. All right, guys, 45 minutes. We got it in. Got through
we'll
3 of the
bet your
4
nuts.
subjects. Do what?
We'll bet your nuts, maybe to end it.
I was going to go. I actually have a reference for Bet Your Nuts. 1 year ago, this very week, the first ever Bet Your Nuts on the station was presented. So for the 1 year anniversary, I think we got to have at least one apiece out of all of us. So, Brandon, you called it. Let's hear what you got.
I got tomorrow night NBA playoffs. I think the Heat close it out in Philly. Um, Embiid's hurt. He's trying to play through it. He's just not his 100% self. He can't see the basket as well with that mask on. They are +2.5. To be safe, probably take the points as my bet your nuts +2.5, but I would sprinkle a little on the money line. I think they close it out.
Nice, nice, very nice. I'm going to give you one that is not going to happen until May 15th. And he got rocked last night, and that be Kyle Wright of the Atlanta Braves. Kind of got rocked in Boston. His next start will come at San Diego against a very good San Diego team. No line is released, but I'll almost bet the Braves will be about a 150 underdog. I don't see Kyle Wright going two bad outings in a row. I'm going to give you the Braves, whatever their underdog at San Diego. Kyle Wright start. Give me the Braves, win the game outright. Take the money.
Love it. Real quick before Robbie goes, my actual bet your nuts was tonight. It was the God, I can't even remember right now. It was the Bucks. Yeah,
Festivals.
I took the Bucks. I had a lot of money on the Bucks +5, and they ended up winning the game. So there you go. Anyway, Rob's, your turn, buddy.
So I'm not sure if I announced it last week on show or if I just text you guys in my group chain about Joe Logano winning last week. He did win.
That was a tell.
So yeah, so this week
Great call after the fact.
I've got Martin Truex Jr., number 19, getting the green flag. He is going off at 10-1. So put your $100 down, you win $1,000. Truex Jr., number 19. Like him this weekend. The cars have tested quick this week. And then I've just started doing this myself. But if you guys want to get into more NASCAR gambling, as everyone should, you can start watching the qualifying on early Sunday morning on FS1. Not a plug because we don't like Fox, but yeah, that's it.
And you can
So, by the way,
gamble
real
on the
quick,
qualifying.
What?
You gamble on the qualifying?
No, you can get the
no, he
speed.
uses it.
It's like when I told you guys, when I text
It's
like
analytics.
when I texted you
got
guys last week, the Mustangs were fast. That's why I bet Joey Logano.
Yeah.
That's where it came from.
Yeah.
You gotta watch all day,
But
Randall. It's not a show up event. It's an all day kind of thing.
Here, I want to make a little pact with us here, and Roger will be included, even though he's not here right now, but he'll do it anyway. For each of our bet your nuts, we all have to put money on each other's bet your nuts.
I'm all right with that.
We need to start keeping. We need to start keeping a record and tally it up, like who's where, who's what, and how many units we win versus.
I'm not sure you guys have ever won anything. I'll make you guys a fortune though.
I just won big one tonight. I posted it on the mess. I gave it a free play to all of y'all.
You did. You did. All right, guys.
You
First
know
of
what we
all,
need? We need an assistant, an executive assistant.
You
We
know, we
do.
need to get off this. Let's go, Randall. Call it.
First of all, happy birthday to our
Happy
brother
birthday, Raj.
To the
in
no
crime,
show.
setting out, having dinner with his family. Raj Mehta, we love you, man. Enjoy yourself. Number 2, there will be no weekend show. We may end up jumping
We
on, but folks,
may. Who knows?
it's the way of the future. Shorter shows, more of them. And number 3, if you've enjoyed it, and we've had a humongous spike tonight.
Like and subscribe.
Subscribe, man. Subscribe.
It's because I told Robbie's other half of the family that he's been so recluse to.
Even if it's just like people you works for you, walk up to them and say, "Let me see your phone. Bring up your YouTube. Hit the subscribe button on River City Media, and make them to get their paycheck."
Don't be a creep.
Yeah. Well, I did it to someone in my office today, so it may have been a creep. Just joking. I don't need no lawsuit. I got Davis, Kessler, Davis. For Randall Cunningham, Robbie Davis, Brandon Chain, Robbie Davis, the victorious, hail to the victor version of Robbie Davis. I know I use a misglove. Good night. God bless. We'll catch you down the road.